Scarlett! Where are you? Oh, hello, there you are. Oh, don't be jealous, Abby. One of the surefire signs that spring is here is when the wood pile gets low and Papa turns the wood stove off, which is what he did today. There's still a little bit of heat in there. He just turned it off a couple hours ago, but it is that time of year. And the snow is melting. Spring is definitely here. I actually heard the first Canada goose fly over today, which is really, really exciting. Hey guys, spring is here. What do you think? Over this big hill is the garden. There's a lot of snow that's going to melt yet before we can even get to it. There we go. We can see the garden a little bit better. This is how we compost in the winter time. Those pineapple tops were just thrown right on top of the garden, on top of the snow. Abby, you'll never get the bird. It's never coming down. Trust me. It's a losing battle. Anyways, this is where the garden is. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Nana the Canner here, and I want to welcome you back to the edge of the boreal forest. Today is March 26, 2025, and we're seeing the first signs of spring. We've had several beautiful days in a row where we've had plus weather, and you see we still have a lot of snow, but there's a fair amount that's already melted. One of the things that happens when spring comes upon us is we shut down the winter wood stove, the outdoor wood furnace, which Papa did today. And one of the other signs is the geese return. And today I seen my very first goose fly by. We also see the crows, they come as well. But the geese is a surefire sign that spring is almost here. In the forecast though, it sounds like we're gonna get that end of March snow or storm that's going to be affecting the better part of Saskatchewan tomorrow and into Friday. We're supposed to be receiving probably about 4 inches of snow, but we'll have to see what tomorrow will bring. But today is a beautiful day, and I decided it's a good day to make my first 2025 garden video. How am I supposed to make a video with you constantly barking at the chickadees? You're gonna have to get over it. That's Abby. Oh my goodness. Abby, you stay here. Abby, get back here. Now. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a long summer. As I have said before, we live in a province in Canada called Saskatchewan, and it is part of the prairie provinces. It's basically right in the center of Canada, and we live in the northeast part of Saskatchewan, and where we live, we are a zone 2. We used to be a zone 1 where we live particularly. But since climate change has happened and I've looked at the zoning maps over the years, we're changed from a zone 1 to a zone 2. So you can imagine with a zone 2, it's a very short growing season. We don't have the growing seasons like say some people do in the United States. We have a window where our last frost date is like the beginning of June. And then we're lucky if we can make it till the middle of September without a frost. The one year we actually made it to the beginning of October, which was phenomenal. I was so pleased with that. But really, we only have basically June, July, August, and half of September. So that's 3.5 months where we shouldn't get any frost. The frost can sneak up though. I've seen it come the end of June. So that means that when we have to plant things that have a longer growing season than that, we have to start them indoors. So quite a few of my plants are started indoors. For example, tomatoes, peppers, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, leeks, a few other small things, onions. We have to start that all indoors. So that's what I've actually done. I decided this year that I was going to present my 2025 garden year just a little bit different than what I had planned last year. For those of you that have been with the channel and know what happened last year, we dubbed it the garden disaster. I've been gardening for quite a few years, and I want to just make this clear. I do traditional gardening. This is gardening that was done by my parents and my grandparents with little to no equipment. A lot of hard work, little to no equipment. We don't have a pile of trellises. We don't have garden beds. We just use old-fashioned hard work to do it. And that's the way my gardens are planted. We don't do cover crops. We don't do like covering with wood chips and stuff like that. It's an old-fashioned method of gardening, tried, tested, and true by our grandparents, our parents, our ancestors. That's what I do here. That's the easiest thing I can do to get through planting a huge garden, which I do. So last year I was really excited to start my gardening adventure on YouTube, and you know, I kind of presented it as I know how to do all of this, right? And the good Lord decided, I am going to put you in your spot. I had started all of these plants, like probably 1,000 plants we had started and ready to go. And Papa had a heart attack the beginning of May, which set back planting. And thank goodness that he's doing well and he's here with us. I mean, I just can't even talk about that. It just is a blessing that he's still here. So we had that happen the beginning of May. And then the end of May, by the end of May, I had gotten a fair amount of the garden planted, but I didn't get any of the plants in from that I had started or some of the other seeds. And then at the end of May, or probably the second, third week in May, I would say, it started raining. And it did not quit. I tell you, every morning we woke up to rain. If there was no rain in the morning, it was sure to start in the afternoon. There was no reprieve from it. So here I was, I had psyched myself up and I had did these videos like, hey, I can garden, because I can produce a lot of food. I can garden and I want to show you what I can do. Well, it was a huge bust. By the time everything had dried up, it was already the end of June. The entire second part of the garden was so flat and compact from all of the rain that we got. We could barely get it turned over. All of the plants were long overdue to be put in. It just, nothing had worked. And I decided, you know, it's the end of June, beginning of July. What if we get that early frost in September? And I'm trying to get all these plants out there and they don't produce. So it's like, you know, rolling a dice, right? What do? Do you go to all that work just to find out it's not going to produce anything, or do you not? And I decided that the garden was a loss. I mean, the seeds that were already in there, they had washed away, they had molded. I mean, it was just a disaster. And yeah, that's what it was the garden disaster. So for those 5 or 6 weeks, it had rained 12.5 inches. 12.5 inches. I have never seen that ever since I've been here. And it was very unusual. It had its impact on local gardeners and on farmers. It just, it was not good at all. And so I made a video and I called it the garden disaster and I posted it. And you know, for the most part, everybody was very supportive and they understood and they were smart enough to go back and listen to other videos and realize that it's not easy with our short growing season as to why I would have given up on that particular garden at that particular time. What was uniquely funny though was that I had somebody in the comment section, a gentleman, that he just flat out said, "You clearly don't know what you're doing. You should just quit gardening, period, and take up another hobby." I was just shocked. I was like, but I know how to garden. I mean, this was just one of those unusual years, and it happened to be my first year that I was going to do garden videos on YouTube, and it was a bust. So I diplomatically sat down and I explained to him through my comment exactly what went wrong, why we did what we did, and why we received the end result. And then I posted the reply to his comment. And then I went back over to the video, and while I was doing this, like, I must have spent a whole half hour trying to figure out how I'm going to say this to him, right? Without, you know, looking like I'm telling him off. My whole family told him off. Even my granddaughter, my 13-year-old granddaughter, told him he didn't know what he was doing and that he should just go rot like a vegetable. I was just like, oh no, this is what I kind of wanted to avoid. But in the same respect, I was so proud of my family and my subscribers for sticking up for me. But in the end, I had a discussion with my family about it, and they said, you know, Mom, yeah, maybe you don't want those kind of comments in your, on your video there. Like, you want some positive feedback and reinforcement. And clearly, he didn't know what he was talking about, and some of the family did get quite angry. So we decided that we were just going to delete that whole comment and just move forward. And I'm really sorry, dear sir, wherever you are. I do know how to garden, and if you're still watching, we'll try again this year. Oh, YouTube, what do you do? Anyways, we're here. It's a brand new year, the 2025 growing season, and I am absolutely so excited to show you what I've got started already, because we already have plants. So let's take you on inside. We have some very wonderful south-facing windows that in the winter time, in March, not so much February, but in March, when the sun gets higher, it beats through these windows, and it's the perfect spot to start seed germination. And what I do is I use trays, and I use cell packs inside the trays with potting soil, and I plant the seeds according to the depth that they're supposed to be planted. And then I put a little bit of water just in the bottom tray there. And these are what the cell packs look like. They've got holes in them. I don't know if you can see the holes, but there's holes in the bottom there. So then I place the tray with the cell packs and the soil and seeds in this area of the house in the sun. And then I put the humidity domes over top. And then that heats up amazingly, and I get very good germination from pretty much all the seeds that I plant when I do this way. So it starts with the seed trays, the cell packs, the soil and the seeds and the domes. And once they have germinated and those little seeds are popping up out of the soil, I immediately take the humidity dome off, because sometimes it can create too much humidity, and sometimes you can get a little bit of mold if you've put too much water in there, and you can actually get a mold that kind of grows on top of the soil. So as soon as they start to pop through the soil, I take them off. And then we move them over to the shelving units over against the wall. These wire shelves with the casters on the bottom. I bought those from Amazon on a great Black Friday deal. I think they're around $60. I'm not sure what they are now. And then I bought sets of grow lights to go with them as well. And I just attach them in underneath. There's no grow light for the top shelf because I don't want to put anything hanging from the roof. I don't want any holes in the roof. So it's just the bottom three there that we have seeds on. And then I added to it this year the shelf liners, which were totally expensive when I first bought these, but they actually went down in price. So this year I added the shelf liners to them, and they are pre-made for this particular shelf. And what the shelving units do is if you happen to spill water, they will prevent the water from dripping onto the grow light here. So that's why I really wanted to add them to the shelves. It is something that I have built up, these 4 particular shelves, over a couple years now. So it wasn't anything that I like put out a whole pile of money for right all at once. I added 2 every year, I guess. And as well with the seed trays and the cell packs and the humidity domes, I kind of just been working my way up so that it's not an expensive cost right away. On the top shelf here, we have started a few different varieties of peppers. We've got the giant Marconi, we've got red night pepper, we've got fat and sassy. I was a little bit worried about this because it hadn't popped up by the time I was ready to take the humidity dome off. And I'm like, okay, well, that was a complete bust. Maybe it was old seed. There was literally no germination. But what I found out was that they take a little longer to germinate, and they did come up, and they came up quite well. We have the California Wonder Green. We have 6 cell packs of those. And you can see they're starting to get into their first leaf. They're past their first leaf stage, and they're producing their second set of leaves there. Here I had some old seed from 2020 that I decided I wanted to try. I wasn't too surprised when only 3 of the 12 seeds germinated because it is old seed. It's 5 years old. So I'm just happy to have those 3 particular plants, and then I will be seed saving from them because I don't think I can get them anymore from the seed company that I have originally been buying from. This is so we have the Hungarian yellow wax hot pepper. This is the Hungarian yellow sweet wax pepper. We have red cayenne, couple of those. You can see we have not quite the germination rate that we were hoping for in these, but that's okay. I think those might have been a little bit older seed as well. We have jalapeno peppers here. We have 4 cell packs of those. And on the bottom, we have Purple Beauty. We have Delirio orange peppers, 4 cell packs of those. 4 cell packs of the California Wonder golden peppers, and we have a garden salsa pepper just on the end here. And incidentally here, while we're down, you can see with these particular grow lights that you can actually choose a timing, like an off-on time or a particular amount of time that you want them on so that they turn off on their own. I just quickly want to talk about germination rate. For the Purple Beauty, we ended up with 10 seeds that come in the package. Germination rate is the percentage or the amount of seeds that will germinate within the package. So this is how I look at it. For what I plant, there was 10 Purple Beauty seeds here. And we do have the 5th plant coming up in this first cell pack. So 9 out of the 10 seeds germinated. So I look at it as I had 90% germination in the Purple Beauty. Then you go over to, let's say, for example, these cell packs here for the Delirio Orange. We had, I think, 20 seeds all in all. You can see this one's starting to open up too there. And only 1 did not germinate. Oh, it looks like it's popping up maybe. But let's just say that 1 did not germinate. That would be a 95% germination rate is how I would go. On the package of seeds, not every company has it, but most companies do have a germination rate listed on the back. And they should also have where the seeds come from. Be wary of where you buy your seeds. You want seeds that are hardy to your particular area. So because I live in Saskatchewan in Western Canada, the best seeds that I can have are the ones that are harvested and sold within Western Canada, more particularly Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. The absolute best seeds that you can get are the ones that you harvest yourself, because they are hardy to your particular garden, your particular area. All right, on to the broccoli. We have 4 cell packs of broccoli Goliath. I really like this one. They produce big, huge heads of broccoli for you. More compact. The Emerald Crown is a nice smaller size than the broccoli Goliath, but it is a nice compact head of broccoli as well. These two I really enjoy a lot. And then I always just plant an extra called the Green Sprouting Italian. And this isn't quite as a compact of head as the other two are. And this one will also produce like little offshoots that you can harvest even after you've harvested the initial head of broccoli. Cauliflower is still something I'm really working at learning how to plant. I have a few different varieties here. I have the cauliflower white sales, fairly good germination there. Freedom cauliflower, we have 5 cell packs of that. And then the super snowball cauliflower as well. I have planted all of these and had fair success. But like I said, the cauliflower, I'm still learning to grow. The biggest thing with the broccoli, the cauliflower, and the cabbage is the moths that always get into it, and they can really damage and destroy those 3 crops. So last year I did buy netting and hoops, and the plan was to hoop them and net them in. But like I said, we didn't get that far. But this year I have all of the supplies I need for that and ready to go. Don't ask me why I need so much celery. I just don't know. I always do this. We have 3 different kinds of celery: Utah celery, celery summer, and celery tango. I can't remember which one is self-blanching. I have planted celery summer and had really great results with it. And I've heard a lot of other people in Saskatchewan really like it as well. But yeah, I do good at growing celery. I have no issues with that. And one thing I have discovered is that it can actually stand a bit of frost. So it is one of the last things that comes out of the garden because of that. Here we have just a couple of few cell packs of red jewel cabbage. And then we have, this is wrong, I don't have J-Cross Brussels sprouts, but I have 8 cell packs of the Long Island improved Brussels sprouts. And I remember the one year I had all of these plants, and they were outside on a shelf on the deck, and we had a huge wind that come up, and it blew the plants over, and I had all my seedlings were everywhere. I tried to save what I could. I didn't know what some of it was. I salvaged a couple of cell packs, which I thought was actually cabbage. And then I planted them, and I'm like, I don't understand why this cabbage is not producing a head. I just don't understand. And then it wasn't until the end of the summer into the fall that I finally just took a really good look. I'm going to pull this out. Obviously something's wrong. It's bolting. Like, I didn't really know. And here I lifted up the leaves, and there were Brussels sprouts underneath. So that was the first time I'd actually had Brussels sprout seedlings, and I inadvertently had grown Brussels sprouts, which I thought was cabbage. But so yeah, we have the red jewel cabbage here, and we have the Brussels sprouts right in here. We have some onions that I think might need a haircut pretty quick here. So I always try and plant some onions or start some onions from seed, and then I do onion sets as well. A couple of really good storing onions are the onion Patterson and the onion Talon. I've had good results with them. The onion Talon, I think the seeds are more expensive than the Patterson. That's why I've planted less of them there. I also have a newer one this year, onion Kelsey Sweet. And then I always plant the onion Ruby Ring. And then I have a brand new onion to the farm, which is the Superstar onions. And I can't remember if I bought that from Vessie's or T&T Seeds. I'll have to go back and look at my receipts and see. But it's a brand new onion to us, and I'm hoping that it will go great. It had a really great germination rate. But this looks like it also needs a haircut as well. And then I didn't have a great germination rate from my leek seeds. They were older seeds, so it doesn't surprise me. So I have bought a new packet of seeds from the local hardware store, and I'm going to try and start those. It's a little bit late to be starting them, but better late than never. Here we have another flat of different kinds of cabbage. There's golden, let's see here, I'll take it off so we can see what's happening here. Hasn't germinated yet. We have Cheers, Copenhagen Market, Golden Acre, Jumbo, Late Flat Dutch, and one of the best growing cabbages for this area is the OS Cross Cabbage. And then next to it here, I have started a flat of basil and parsley. We have two different kinds. We have the sweet basil and the basil Genovese. That has germinated quite well. The parsley is just starting. So as soon as the parsley, I see a few more plants come up, I'll probably just leave the humidity dome off so that we don't get too much humidity in there. And we don't end up with mold. And then we have some oregano that's starting over here. Oregano is really tiny. It's one of those hard seeds to plant. But you can just see a little teeny tiny oregano in there. I'm probably going to have to do some thinning. Maybe a little bit more water in there as well, I'm thinking, because they are small plants. And then over here we have asparagus, Mary Washington. I always like to start asparagus every year, just in case I need to replenish some spots in my asparagus patch. But they haven't germinated yet. Then we have Roma tomatoes, which I just planted. A whole flat of those. And a whole flat of Mamma Mia's. Those two are paste tomatoes. I have really good luck with them. The other paste tomato that I have is San Marzano. The little play area is a porch on the south side of the house. This door doesn't get used here, so this is what we've kind of turned it into. Unfortunately, it doubles as a germination area as well. And all of these are tomato plants. We have several different varieties of tomatoes. We have Long Keeper. Let's see what we have here. We have an Oxheart tomato. That one is a beautiful tomato, very fleshy, in the shape of an actual heart. Like, we're not talking like a little heart that you would write on a piece of paper. It looks like a heart. We also have Prairie Pride tomatoes. I love the Prairie Pride tomatoes. They're a medium-sized tomato. They are great for canning whole. We have the Sans Marzano here, which is another paste tomato. We also have the Manitoban tomatoes, which is heirloom tomato. Really great. I love the Manitoban because they fit right in your hand, and they're perfect for putting whole into the jars. And we also have the big, beautiful bush beefsteak tomatoes, a nice big slicing variety. Then over here, we have the Bush Early Girl. That's a really great early variety of tomatoes. We also have Mortgage Lifter. Mortgage Lifter is fairly new to me, but I did seed save. And we also have Mountain Merit. And Mountain Merit, despite the fact that they didn't get planted, Mountain Merit was the best growing one that I had last year that I started indoors. I was very impressed with it. So yeah, these two are fairly new. They are saved seeds. I did do them in 2023. Like I said, last year was a bust, so I didn't grow them last year, but really do enjoy those as well. So on the back of your seed pack, there's going to be a lot of good information there. You're going to find out the depth that you're going to plant your seeds at, the spacing that you will need, the planting depth once they are out in the garden. You should find germination rate. Some companies don't do that. You should find out, that should say where that your seeds are from, and that's important too, because like I said, you want to get seeds that are hardy to your area. You're going to find the company name. You're going to find whether it grows well in full sun, partial sun, or even shade. It's going to tell you a whole variety of things, so make sure that you study and look at the back of your seed packet before you start. As far as planting and germinating seeds, there are different ways to do it. I start straight with the cell packs. Some people I know, they just start with a flat tray. They sprinkle their seeds in, and then they put their soil over top according to the depth that they need. And then they germinate them, and then they will transplant them into the cell packs. I kind of just skip that step and I start them in the cell packs. Not so much with the peppers, but with seeds that are a little bit smaller, for example, the celery seeds and stuff. Sometimes you end up with 2 or 3 in the same spot. I actually just thin them out to the one. I used to save them. I'm like, oh my goodness, there was 3 that started well in that particular spot. When I go to transplant them, I'm going to save them. Well, I end up with way too many plants. Don't do that to yourself. If you have 2 or 3 that start up in the one spot, that are germinating and coming up in the one spot, just cut the other 2 off and save the one that's growing the best. You're going to end up with more plants than what you anticipated. So yeah, some people use soil blocks, which I have never done. I've seen it done. It looks very interesting. But this is the way I've been doing it for a lot of years, and it has worked for me. So this is the way I choose to do it. It's not right or wrong. It is just one way. And you'll find out what works for you once you get started. Start small. If you've never gardened, start small, or you're going to get overwhelmed. Start small and grow your skills from there. And before you know it, a few years down the road, you'll be planting these really amazing gardens. So there are a few other items that I do want to start. It doesn't necessarily have to be started. We do have the growing season for it, but I definitely do want to start some of those leek seeds that I said I had bought in. A few lettuce plants, some romaine, some head lettuce, some kale. I'd like to start that early. Just a few other items that I would like to get a jump on. Not imperative at this time. What is imperative that needs to be started has been started. So I'm really pleased and happy that we're almost to the end of March and this is where we're at. Now, once these have grown to the point where they may need to be repotted, some of them might need to be repotted, some of them might not be, then they will move down into my garage. And unfortunately, my side of the garage, my bay, turns into my greenhouse in the spring. They will go down there, I will repot them down there, and then that's where they will stay. And on the nice, beautiful, warm days is when I can open up the door to that particular bay of the garage, and that's where I will push them kind of out into the sun, and that's where the hardening off process will start before they go into the garden. So, well, there you have it. There's my start to the 2025 garden season, and I'm so excited. It's going well. So hopefully the rest of the year will go this way. We don't know. We don't know what the weather will bring us. The climate and weather are always changing, so we'll just have to see what comes. I make no promises. I can't see that we'll have another year like we did last year, but you never know. And that is what happens when you are growing in the second harshest climate on the face of this earth. So I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I think we're at 980 subscribers. All I need is 20 more to make it to that 1,000, that magic 1,000. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for watching.